Hello and welcome, Bates students, to this first year experience module about artificial intelligence. So this workshop was created for you by other Bates students and myself. My name is Dr. Carrie Diaz-Eaton. I'm a professor in the Digital and Computational Studies Department. So we're going to talk a little bit about what AI is, how it works, and where you might encounter it at Bates, and then some information about some features of AI that may help you use AI more reasonably, ethically, usefully, etc. in your life at Bates and beyond. So first, let's talk about what artificial intelligence is. Words have been thrown around a lot lately, and it's everywhere, from your Google searches to spell check. And NASA broadly describes artificial intelligence, or AI, as computer systems that can perform complex tasks normally done by human reasoning, decision making, creating, etc. Another way to say this is that AI is an area of study which attempts to create computer programs that imitates things humans can do: analysis, learning, reasoning, or creating. Artificial intelligence is more than just ChatGPT. It's a whole field of techniques which makes ChatGPT and many other technological products possible. This includes careful context understanding about problems that need solving, selecting relevant quality data, identifying patterns and relationships, producing output such as predictions or content, creating a model computer program, and updating its algorithms based on feedback and other updated data sources. So AI has become ubiquitous, applied in our everyday life, in recommendation algorithms like Netflix, Google searches, TikTok. AI technologies inform decision making, for example, recommending credit card and other marketing offers. It is also in schools, for example, in homework software, which helps teachers group student responses together to identify common student difficulties or suggest practice problems for students. And of course, AI is used to create the generative tools we see popularized today, such as ChatGPT, Gemini, and generative AI is also very heavily integrated into other software. For example, in Canva, helping create slideshows, or automatically photo editing in Adobe. Generative AI, or Gen AI, is a specific subset of AI technology broadly, which generates, quote unquote, generates, hence generative, or creates new data content such as text, images, music, based on the relationships it identified in the data it was trained on. Gen AI mimics human language or content to produce, quote unquote, novel content. Large language models, or LLMs, are a type of generative AI that produces text output. In order to make a large language model like ChatGPT, it is first trained on large amounts of text data from online articles, books, social media posts, and other websites. It does more than just suggest a text message autocomplete, but that is one way of thinking about it. It converts the words into vectors to get a deeper model of the relationships between words. When you input a prompt, it'll recognize the patterns in that prompt according to the word values. And then it outputs words that are closely related to those prompt words. It doesn't matter if the output text makes sense structurally or semantically. Large language models will always output the most likely words or some distribution of words based on those values that are assigned. The important thing to remember about generative AIs is that it does not consciously produce its answers, nor does it understand what those answers mean. Gen AI simply predicts and mimics how a human would respond based on its training data. As such, it is possible that Gen AI can seem trustable and confident in its answers, but it isn't always accurate. Let's go ahead and look at an example. So we're going to try to use generative AI in action. If you haven't tried already, you can follow along with me here now, press pause, and but I'll try to go slowly through the slides as well for you. So there are additional instructions in writing in your in learning management system also, so you can have another reference. But I'm going to take you through the gist of it. There are a lot of generative AI engines. We're going to use Gemini, which is a Google generative AI chatbot. And that's because it is accessible here at Bates. All students have free access to the same pro versions. You just have to log into your Bates account when using it. So I'll go ahead and give you a moment to do that now. Once you've logged in, it may be useful to notice that any data that you input while logged into your Bates.edu account will not be used to train AI models. So you can sort of see that disclaimer right at the bottom of what your prompt box looks like. So I'm going to have you follow the same prompt that I did here. Ask Gemini to generate an image of a clock showing a specific time. In this case, I'll ask Gemini for a clock at 10. This might take a while, but it should be pretty quick. Here's the clock I got when I did this the first time. Is your clock exactly the same as mine? Different? How is it different? Maybe try asking for another time. How does it work if you ask it for 6:45 a.m.? What about 3:33 p.m.? In the next video, we're going to talk a little bit about some features of the results that you're getting from generative AI and how to interpret and understand those features. So go ahead and play around with it a little bit and then come back and start video 2.